Hello, guys. Welcome once again to one of our classes. I gotta say, a happy new year to all of you guys. I hope this year brings amazing memories and new amazing memories for all of you. And on top of that, well, a lot of good learning experiences with us here at ASOCIM. Today, I'm in charge of explaining or reviewing with you the past continuous. I hope you remember this, when we talk about the past. And it's funny because, we are now in the future, we are now in 2026. But with this content, we're going to be seeing a bit of our actions in the last year in the past, in the near past that we got behind us. Okay? Let's start with the past continuous. Okay, before starting though, I want to review, the past simple. You know that the past simple is for actions that are set and ended or finished in the past. It's not in the present and not in the future. It's now in the past. Okay. Today we're gonna look at when do we use the past continuous. How do we spell the verbs? Because I mean, as you may know, it is different. They are differently spelled from in comparison to their past simple counterparts. Okay, and also how to build the sentences in past continuous. At the end of the class, of course, we're gonna have a bit of practice about it. Okay, so here we go. Now we're gonna talk about the function. When do we use the past continuous? If you read the title, past continuous, you think, okay, it's in the past, but it's continuing. Does this mean that the past is continuing into the future? Not quite, but goes along the idea. Okay, goes along with the idea. And in this case here, we're gonna see a couple of examples to understand why and when do we use the past continuous. Okay, in this case we have the first sentence that says he was surfing his bike at 10 a.m. Okay, here we have a timeline, timeline with the hours, with the time. We got the 9 o'clock a.m., we got 10 a.m., and we got 11 a.m. Okay, and the statement says this action was happening at that moment at 10 a.m. He was in the middle of the action. He started at 9 o'clock a.m. and finished at 11 a.m. So, at 10, he was in the middle of writing. He wasn't finished. Here you can see that he started doing something before at 9, as you can see on the screen, here on the screen. He started doing something at 9, okay? Then at 10, he was doing it. He was still doing it. So that's why they say that at 10 a.m. he was surfing his bike at still, okay? And then at 11 he finished. In this case, here you can find at 10 a.m. our example of the past continuous, and if we were to use the past simple, if we were to use the past simple with this example, we would say that at 11 a.m. he finished surfing his bike. Okay? Now we go to another one, the next one. Here we have another example. We got many other examples. Okay, and this statement, this sentence talks about some friends apparently that they went on a trip, okay, to Scotland. The sentence says, this time last year they were visiting Scotland. Okay, this time last year, so this time January 1st, January 7th, yeah, exactly. They were visiting Scotland. I wish that was me. I haven't visited any other city since so many years ago, actually. What city do you like to visit, guys? I mean, I would like to go to Wakata or something like that. I'm kidding. Okay, this time last year that we visited Scotland, that is our sentence. And and here you can see that you guys have um, the the time where they started the action, the time where they were visiting Scotland, the duration of this action, and then the time where they finished the actions. Okay, they were doing it at a certain time. The action or situation started before that time and had not finished. Okay, they started doing it here, they were still doing it here, and they finished it doing it here. You can say that, and in another example that you can put, if you're talking about this time last year, you can say that in December they went to visit Scotland. In the first days, no, on the first week of January, they were visiting Scotland. You see, that's a past continuous, and they finished their visit in Scotland in February. So you can see, the action started in December, the action continues at the end of December, at the beginning of January, and it ended or finished in February. We got another example. This is amazing, and I think this is the clearest example that we got here. Okay, so the sentence says they were leaving when the phone rang. Okay, they were leaving when the phone rang. So the phone rang. He we have like a combination of tenses. I don't know if you see them. It said that they were leaving. We have our past continuous here, and then we have the phone rang, which is our past simple. Okay, this is the example on how we can use, our past continuous to express something that happened before. Okay, past action in progress. They were leaving, interrupted by another action that was finished. The phone rang. Okay, something that happened while you were doing something else. In this case, when they were leaving the house, look at my fingers, they were leaving the house when then the phone rang and they need to, say hello. So exactly. I don't have anyone to call me, so yeah, it wouldn't be much nicer, I guess. But okay, guys, here we have another example. Another example of, in this case we have while, and this relative pronoun help us to correlate two actions that were happening simultaneously. As you can see, Jane was looking at the map while Susan was talking to Sophie. You can see here in the picture that Jane here was reading the map. She was looking for something in the map, and Susan, while she was doing this, Susan was taking a selfie here. Okay, both actions were happening at the same time. Another example could be teacher Santiago was teaching past continuous while he was talking on the phone. I'm kidding, I would never do that because I don't speak on my phone during my classes. That is disrespectful to you guys. I'm kidding. I'll do it. I'm sorry. Okay, now, teacher, past continuous. Okay, so we need to use the verbs in past. No, you need to spell the verbs. The spelling goes with the ing form of the verb. Same as if you were using the present continuous or present progressive. Okay, and most verbs go with ing. Like we have go, eat, and read. They go going, eating, reading, going, eating, reading. Okay, those verbs that end with the letter e, this one that you can see here, I'm sorry, they needed to have that letter e removed, and you need to add the ing. So make, dance, and take will become making, dancing, and taking. You don't need to pronounce the e. So make, dance, take, making, dancing, taking. Okay. Now those verbs ending in one vowel and then one consonant. One vowel. A, E, I, O, U. Okay, vowel I, E, U in this case, and then a consonant M, T, and T. So you need to double the consonant. The last consonant, you double it. You copy it again, and then you add your ing. For example, swim becomes swimming. You might say swimming, okay, but it's pronounced the same way. sort of, you need to stress that consonant a little bit more. So it will be like swimming or getting or putting, getting or swimming. Okay, you just copy the last consonant and then you add the ing. For example, swim, it only has one M, but since they're saying that we need to copy it, we need to add another M and then the ing. Same with getting and putting. They got two T's each one of them. We got more rules actually, and here is where we go about the how do we make positive sentence with the past continuous. Okay, this is the form. How do we create sentences with past continuous? Easy peasy. You know that in present continuous, we use the subject, the verb to be, and the verb with the ing form. In past continuous, we do the same, but in this case, our verb to be is in past form. So in this case, it would be I, but became I was, he, she, it used was to, and we, you, and they use were. So I was going, he, she, it was going, we, you, they were going. In this case, look at this example. This is some people mounting a banana, a giant banana. I guess they are in Choroni right now. Maybe I wish I was in Choroni. It's very amazing. Okay, and the sentence says we were going on a giant banana. So here we have he, we, our subject, which is we. Okay, we got our verb to be, but in past. So where instead of being we are, no, we were because it's in past. Okay, then our main verb with ing, go, as you can see here, goes going. Okay, go here, going, and then the rest of our complement on a giant banana. Here we have now, how teacher, but I want to make negative statements, negative sentences in the past continuous. Easy busy. You know, it's the same thing as you do in the affirmative way, but you need to add not after the verb to be in past. So in this case, instead of being I was, it would be I was not or I wasn't. And in the case of were, it would be they were not or they weren't. Here you have two examples. You have one example in the negative form and one example in the affirmative form. They weren't taking photos. They weren't. They were not taking photos. They were looking at a map. And it's true. Look at the picture. Look at the picture here. They definitely were looking at the map. They were not taking pictures. Okay? Now, here, how do we make questions? Or in this case, yes or no questions using the present continuous. Well, guys, as you know, in English, often when we do yes or no questions, when we have the verb to be, we switch the subject and the verb to be. So if I say I was going, if I want to ask that question, I say was I going. Okay, it's the opposite of the declarative sentences. Okay, so was she traveling? Where was she going? Why was she traveling alone? It's the other way around. You use the verb to be first, then the subject, and then your verb with ing. And not that you please never forget, don't forget your question mark. Remember that in English we use only the closing question mark, but they use the opening one, like in Spanish. Now let's practice here. Let's practice here. I guess you don't want to practice because I don't know, but let's practice here, guys, a bit. We got 3 exercises here, okay, and of course you have the correct answer there. But see this, you know. Let's complete these 3 sentences, and we have the correct answer here. She was dancing at the party, and they were swimming in the pool, and I was studying. See that the verbs, you know, most of the words like study was in present, and it's in its base form, and it happens to switch to the ing. Now, here is the real quiz time. Now, no longer practice, it's your turn to fill in the blanks with the correct past continuous tense form. Okay, so here we have a couple of sentences. We have our subjects, we have our complement, but but we have context here, which is the important part of understanding a language, okay? Context. So, um, the first sentence says, he, blank, in the park when it started to snow. Okay? He he was doing something in the park, okay, but what was he doing? Maybe we can say that he was painting in the park when it started to snow. He was reading, he was playing, okay? I doubt he was sleeping in the park. Okay, the second one says the birds, while we a picnic. In this case, um, we can say, oh, no, he was running in the park. Yes, exactly. The birds, what do birds do? They sing. So the birds were singing. This one, the birds were singing while we playing a picnic. Yeah, maybe. Okay. No, we already know. We were watching a picnic, or exactly. Yeah. Now she, we have a blank here, and then we have a beautiful picture last night. Okay, here it goes painting. She was painting a beautiful picture, because you paint pictures, with paint. Yeah, that was not very smart on my part, but yeah, you paint a picture. She was painting a beautiful picture last night. They blank on the phone when the lights went out. What do you do on your phones? Teacher, I watch TikTok. I know you watch TikTok and Instagram and social media in general, but phones were made, to talk, to speak with people, to say hello. Yeah? That's what phones were made for. So, in this case, you can say that they were talking on the phone when the lights went out. Okay, then we have we blank a movie while outside. We were watching a movie while it was raining outside, because it rained outside, and you watch movies. That's what you do with movies. Okay. Then we have I blank a book while my brother video games. I was reading a book while my brother. What do you do with video games? You play them. So while my brother was playing video games, the cat slash blank on the sofa when the dog loudly. Okay, being honest and being realistic here, guys. What do cats do every day? They are lazy animals. They sleep a lot. I think they sleep like 17 hours a day or something like that. I mean, I'm exaggerating, of course, but they sleep a lot. So I guess the cat was sleeping on the sofa, but the dog loudly, very loud that you need to cover your ears. What is that thing that dogs do? They bark. They say woof woof. They bark. So when the dog barked loudly, he would have something that the cat was doing in the process, when suddenly the cat is sleeping stopped because the dog barked loudly. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this class. Here I'm going to leave you so you can take notes of this multiple choice quiz, for you to practice at home, um, and learn to use the past continuous tense, or so it can help you review it if you already seen or taken this class. If you want, you can see this part that I have here on the screen and write it down in the comments. Write the answer down in the comments below here in this video. I really hope you enjoyed this class, and I want to see you on the next one. Thank you.